Greetings. Here is your daily walk through the scriptures for March the 5th. Our conversations today, or our readings today, look at Numbers chapter 6 and 7, Mark chapter 12, 38 through 44, Psalm 49, 1 through 20, and Proverbs chapter 10, verses 27 and 28. Now, there's a few different interesting things that we have going on here that I want to kind of point out and make you think about a little bit. One of those has to do in Numbers chapter 6 when we see the Nazirite vow. Now, the reason why we're going to hit this for just a second is because you need to understand that there are importances to the Nazirite vow that we're going to see at various times within Scripture. Now, Nazirite vow is one that has very specific rules. You look at the Nazirite vow and, for example, they cannot cut their hair. Okay? Not only that, but they cannot... They can't go near a dead body. They can't do any of those things because this is a special and select vow before God. Now, this is not to be confused with Nazareth, the town, okay, or people that live in the town called Nazarenes, okay. Nazirite is a very different vow, and it's one that's very strong. And we're going to see, as we do our studies, we're going to see examples of this. We're going to see Samson not that long from now. Samson was someone that was in a Nazirite vow. We're going to see John the Baptist live a la Nazirite vow, though not quite fully Nazarite. So we're going to see some of those instances, and we're going to hearken back to this, so that's why I'm pointing it out to you today. Also, in Mark chapter 12, we have examples of playing church. When I went off to college, now I went to a very good school to get my bachelor's degree, and it was a Christian university. And one of the things that I discovered was that there were people that were there for various reasons, but it wasn't necessarily because they were Christians or because they were trying to get closer to God. Instead, maybe their parents got discounted tuition because they were employees there. Maybe it was the easy school to get into because of scholarships. Whatever the reason, they were there, but they were not there to get closer to God. Now, I grew up in a secular town where basically if you were a Christian, it's because you were a Christian, not because you wanted to play church. But here at this school, I knew for a fact there were people, and this kind of disillusioned me a little bit, that would play church. They would, for example, on Sunday mornings, they would get up and they would put on nice clothes to go to the student cafeteria, to the student union building, so that people would think that they went to church. However, I knew they didn't for a fact because I knew that they were out late the night before and had gotten in just long enough to get cleaned up and get to lunch. And it really just saddened me, and it really just perplexed me, and in some ways it caused a little bit of a crisis of faith for a season for me, but not in a bad way. Ultimately, it led me to where I'm at now. But I say this because in Mark chapter 12, we see the exact same thing. We see the playing of church. We see the dressing up, but then inside is just nasty. In verse 38, as he taught, Jesus said, and this was Jesus talking to a crowd around the temple area, "Watch out for the teachers of the law. They like to walk around in flowing robes and be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and have the most important seats in the synagogues and the places of honor at banquets. Yet they devour widows' houses and for a show make lengthy prayers. These men will be punished severely." See, remember, we have commands to care for the orphans and the widows. These are very specific commands that God has given us in the Old Testament throughout it, where hospitality and caring for those that are less fortunate are important parts of the Judeo law. And here is a group of people that are supposed to be the exemplars, the holding up, the ones that are supposed to be the standard, and yet they look at it and they go, no. As a matter of fact, we're going to take what we can from you and take advantage of it. That's playing church. We need to pay attention to this because it's easy for us to fall into this same trap. Now, we may not be the flowing robes religious leaders, but we are also really good at putting on the false face, of putting on the reason why people call us hypocrites part of a church, because we don't know how to love and serve one another. We let the pettiness of our own preferences get in the way of us truly serving one another and being the church. So we need to read these things and we need to look and examine in them ourselves and go, okay, how do I fit into this? Where are my areas that I'm the flowing robes and looking for the best thing? Is it in showing people how much I love God by how much I know about God? by reading the Bible and being an educator of God? Or am I really living out truly what the Scripture says, not just reading it? Okay, there's your thought for the day. Have a blessed one. We will talk next time.